I'm Idiotech, and these are my first impressions of Battlefleet Gothic Armada. Now, this game retails for $40 US. It came out about a week ago, and unfortunately I got the flu at exactly the same time, so I do apologize for the lateness of this video. If you just want to know whether you should pick this game up or not, you should. It's a great game. If you like RTS and you like the 40k theme and the setting, it's a great game. It does have problems, I am going to get into those in this video, but for the most part, it's an excellent game, and if you love the idea of the original tabletop game, or you just want to play something cool in the 40k universe, it's well worth your time and money. So what do we have? Well, first up, let's take a look at the options menu. It's an Unreal 4 engine game, and as such, it runs really well. I'm getting 60 FPS constantly at 1080p with a GTX 980. The graphics options themselves are reasonable. The only core complaint I have here is that the anti-aliasing method used seems to be FXAA, and that makes the game look a touch blurry at times, but overall, graphics options are great. I would recommend that you enable VSync if you're not using a G-Sync monitor, because there is an awful lot of screen tearing in this game. Audio options are completely reasonable, gamma slider if you need that, and the controls are fully rebindable. So that's the options menu. This game, it's hard to criticize because what's here is good, but I don't feel there's enough of it. And what I'm going to do to demonstrate that to you is jump into the campaign, and then we'll jump into an actual battle, and I'll show you how the battle mechanics work, because the battle mechanics are fantastic, as well as the fleet management and upgrade stuff. I love all of those mechanics. They're great. I've thoroughly enjoyed my time in this game. And by the way, I've spent about 10 hours in this game so far, and I still don't feel qualified to review it in full, because I don't fully understand all of the mechanics and I haven't spent enough time in the multiplayer. Okay, so what do we have here? We have what looks like a galaxy map. We have what appears on its surface to be a grand strategy. Unfortunately, that's not what it is, and I think this game would be so much better if it had some kind of grand strategy 4X style experience attached to it. Okay, so how does this campaign work? Well, basically, you get a cutscene. The cutscene explains the next part of the story to you. It's well delivered, the voice acting's nice, and for the most part, the art in those cutscenes is good. You will do a story mission. You'll go into combat, you'll fight some dudes, you'll kill them, and the story will progress. In between that, though, you'll have this map. Now, this map will give you various different objectives. In this case, we have 3 objectives, 1, 2, and 3. Over here, we have world properties. Now, these basically give you buffs, or debuffs, should I say. There's no actual buffs. You just start at default, and then as these sectors get taken over, you start to lose stuff. So in this case, if this sector here is taken over, which it has been, we will lose upgrade. It will get an upgrade penalty. So it will cost us 10% more to upgrade our ships. That's a problem, so you're going to want to deal with that. That's all it is, though. You go in here, you click this, you fight a mission, you kill these guys. If you win, you get that back. If you don't win, then they progress forward into the system, and you start to get debuff after debuff after debuff, which makes the single-player campaign story stuff harder. That's the idea. It's not a true grand strategy campaign in any way, and it would be so much better if it was. Now, I understand this is a mid-tier developer. They don't have a huge pedigree. I imagine their resources were somewhat limited, as most 40k games are, and I can't blame them. But if this had something akin to Total War, where you had a grand strategy map and you had to take over sectors and build improvements and get buffs, and people would come and take that stuff from you and you'd take stuff from them, if it had that and its real-time combat system, which I'm going to show you in a minute, this would be a fucking amazing game. Sadly, it doesn't have that, and it's only a good game, which isn't a bad thing, but it could be better. So what I hope is that they do a sequel. I hope they make another version of this game, they have some more resources, the game has sold incredibly well on Steam, and they go in and they do that, because this game would benefit so much from a grand strategy type experience. So that's how that works. Let's back out and jump into an actual battle, because that's what you'll be doing 90% of the time when playing this game. So what do we have? We have custom game, we have solo skirmish, and we have multiplayer. These are virtually identical. In custom game, you can unlock everything straight away and play with whatever you want. In solo skirmish, you have more of a progression curve, and in multiplayer, it's exactly the same as solo skirmish, except you're playing against other people. So I'm going to jump into solo skirmish so I can demonstrate this stuff to you. So what do we have? We have Imperial Navy, we have Chaos, we have Orc Pirates, and we have Eldar Corsairs. These are all very different from one another, and they play extremely differently. The Eldar are very, very fast. The Chaos do a shitload of damage, and the Orc Pirates essentially ram you and have very heavily armored ships. I play the Imperial Navy because they feel kind of a good balance between all three. As you can see, These are the positives and minuses for each race. So the Imperial Navy. Now this is my admiral here. He's level 4. Let's load him up. And we'll talk about the mechanics of this game, because really this is all you're going to do. You're going to see this screen, then you're going to go have a battle, then you're going to see this screen, you're going to go have a battle. Whether you're playing the campaign, whether you're playing solo, whether you're playing multiplayer, this is the game. And I can't criticize it for what it is, because what it is really good. It's just, it could have more. If it had more, I'd spend more hours in this title. As of right now, I've got 10 hours. I can see myself playing this occasionally, but if it had that cool grand strategy map to it, I could see myself sinking hundreds of hours into this because the core combat mechanics are fantastic. First up, visual stuff. So, presentation, it's pretty nice. The ship looks really cool when you get up close, and you can get up really close, especially in battles. There's some really nice particle effects. The shaders are good, the textures are good. There's no real complaints here on my part. It's a great looking game, especially for an RTS. Okay, so what do we have? Well, up here we have my level. Every time I level up, I gain access to new slots, new equipment slots that is, and new ship slots. So, when I level up to level 5, I'll probably get access to battle cruisers, and when I level up to level 6, I'll probably get access to battleships. You get how it works. The other leveling system is on the ships themselves. So this cruiser here, this Dominator, it's level 4. Now every time this levels up the ship itself, I gain access to new upgrade slots and skill slots, which I can spend renown, which is a currency I get at the end of battles, to improve. So I can improve my ship with renown as it levels up. So that's how that stuff works. Finally, we have these ships, light cruisers and escort ships. These escort ships, essentially filler ships. If you don't quite have enough money to fill up with light cruisers and battleships and stuff, you can fill up with these instead. And then we have transport ships. So let's take a look at the stats on one of these ships, this Dominator. So it has two different kinds of weapons. It has a frontal weapon, which is a Nova cannon, which is extremely powerful. And it has a macro battery, which is essentially broadside cannons. If you think of this as traditional sea combat, then that's kind of what this game is. There's no vertical movement. You can't move up or down in space. It's not like Homeworld. It's very much like traditional ship combat. We also have traits, and then we have orders. These are the various orders I can issue on the ship, as well as stats about the ship, so hull integrity, shields, things like that. Now, we have upgrades. These are passive in nature, so when you get one, for example this one, it will increase the range of macro weapons by 3,000 units. This one over here increases my critical strike chance. There are tons of different passive upgrades. As you level up the ship, you get more slots, you spend your renown, you get more passive upgrades. Next we have skills, so these are activatable abilities. So this, for example, Taunt, will force an enemy ship to attack my ship for a certain period of time, and then it goes on cooldown. So these are akin to abilities you might see in an MMO. Next up we have favors, so these are specializations, I guess is what I would call them. This one, for example, will give us the access to reinforcements, which is a nice ability, and it will prevent our crew from becoming insubordinate. If you take too much damage, your crew will essentially freak out and run away. So you can prevent that with that buff. It costs 400 renown, which is why I have not bought one yet. Finally, we have crew. So you have various different members of your crew that you can upgrade, and they will improve certain abilities. For example, Master Gunner will improve my critical strike chance, whereas the Tech Priest will increase the efficiency of my repairs. So that's how all that stuff works. There's a hell of a lot of detail there. There's a lot of things to wrap your head around. And another criticism I do have is that there isn't much of a tutorial. Now, if you play the campaign, there is a very, very basic tutorial. It's delivered to you in the form of text prompts. It doesn't really prepare you for the amount of depth this game has to offer, and I think they could have done some more work there. Okay, so let's jump into battle. This is the fun part. Okay, loading screens are reasonable in this, by the way. Okay, so yeah, this is how this works. So we have battleships, battlecruisers, cruisers, light cruisers, escort ships, and transport ships. At the moment, I only have access to cruisers and light cruisers. We have 500 fleet points. This is something I'm not a huge fan of. I don't mind the fleet point cap. What I mind is that I tend to only fleet about 3 or 4 ships in a battle. And that doesn't seem to improve as you progress because battleships are obviously more expensive. And so you tend to only be fighting with 4 on 4. And it would be nice, honestly, if I could fight with more ships. That's a minor complaint, but it's something I would appreciate. At the end of matches, I tend to get a little bit bored because I'm just killing one ship with like 3 ships, and you're just waiting for the ship to die. So having some more things to do in the form of having more ships would be kind of cool. We also have the mission type, the role, so I'll be the attacker. It's a cruiser clash, so that just means kill the cruisers. And 1v1, okay? So I'm going to take my Dominator, definitely, because that thing is awesome and it has a Nova Cannon. I'm going to take probably this light cruiser. And in fact, I'm going to take 2 Dominators in this case. And I'm going to take a Cobra Destroyer. Now, these Cobra Destroyers are not great. I actually have quite a lot of points here. So I have 2 of these Cobra Destroyers. I have 2 Dominators and a Dauntless. That's actually a reasonably good setup. So let's get going. As you can see, the visuals are quite good for an RTS. It depends on the environment. Sometimes you get really visually impressive environments and sometimes they're a little bit bland. This one seems okay. Yeah, it's quite pretty, honestly. Okay, so this is the deployment phase. So the idea here is just to kill the ships. That's the mission we're on. As you can see, this over here is a little bit blurry, and that's due to the shitty form of anti-aliasing that they use in the game. So this is the deployment phase. I'm going to basically place all my ships down in some form of an arrangement. Let's place that one there. Let's place this one here. Let's stick the big ships up the front. And let's stick these little Cobras at the back. Now, these are virtually useless. They do some damage, but they're not great. Okay, so they're deployed, right? That's my formation. Cool. All right, so what are we going to do? Well, the first thing to do is to check the range of my attacks. So this macro battery has a range of 9,000, as does this one, hopefully. Yep, and as does this one. Cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select those 3 ships right there, and I'm going to set them all to 9,000 as their default engagement range. That basically allows me to stay away from enemy ships, and hopefully if they have a shorter range of attack than I do, I'll take less damage. Now, we can also set whether or not they attack with broadside or with the front of the ship. Now, for these 2 ships here, they have a Nova Cannon, which I can trigger manually, and I tend to do that at the beginning of a match because once I get close to other ships, it's practically useless, and so it's best for them to engage at broadside. Same with this ship over here. But these 2 ships, these 2 little ships, they don't have broadside cannons, they have torpedoes, so it's best for them to engage frontally. So I'm going to switch those over to front attack. I'm also, because they have an unlimited range on those attacks, going to set them to 12k to try and keep them out of harm's way as best as possible. Okay, all done. I'm going to select them all as a control group and hotkey that to the key number 1, and we'll get into battle. So to navigate the environment, I'm using the middle mouse to rotate the camera. I can also zoom in and out with the middle mouse, and I'm using W, A, S, and D to move around the map, as you can see here. Okay, so the map itself has these pockets of asteroids. It also has pockets of gas clouds. You can hide in gas clouds, and if you fly into asteroids, you'll take significant damage. The idea is to try and get your enemy to navigate into them accidentally. Okay, so we have 3 ships over there and 3 ships over there. That's not great. We also have this little probe that's coming out to try and detect what kind of ships we have. Now you can see we can't actually see what kind of enemy we're facing, and we'll only be able to see that once they get into detection range, or unless we use a probe like they're using. So we have to defeat 6 enemies right now. That's not going to be the easiest thing to do. I'm going to tell you that right now. So what I tend to do is I tend to just sort of move forward in this case, because I want to use these Nova Cannons, this ability here. And I will get into all of these abilities as we play. I want to use this Nova Cannon because it's a massive area of effect attack. It does a huge amount of damage if you can land it, but the problem is it's got a little bit of RNG associated with it. As you can see, that ship's been identified, as has that ship, but they don't know what these 3 are here, so that's kind of useful. One criticism I do have of the formation system is, as you can see, different ships have different speeds, and so essentially my formation is nullified as soon as we move into combat. Seems kind of pointless even having that phase, to be honest. Alright, so I'm going to stop all my ships here using this command, and I'm going to start firing my Nova Cannons, and hopefully get some damage off. You can hit tab to cycle through your ships that are selected, by the way. Okay, that one might actually do some damage. Let's see, did he take anything out? Nope. Okay, these are some heavy ships that are coming at me. Alright, so I'm going to set, if I hit the spacebar, right, I'm going to slow things down. Hitting the spacebar activates the tactical cogitator, which essentially slows down gameplay. It allows you to focus more on what you're doing, and it will give me some more time to explain what's going on here. So I'm going to select this ship here. I'm going to start engaging that ship over there. I'm also going to engage that ship over there with that little tiny cruiser and fire some torpedoes. I'm going to keep that guy just sitting in the middle because I want to use his cannon. And this guy I'm going to send to start attacking over here. Now this is going to be tricky, but that's the general idea. Now, you can see these various abilities here. Now, this one here will reduce the cooldown on your various abilities, like Nova Cannon. So if I trigger that on that ship, it reduces his cooldown, which means I can use it quicker. I'm going to do the same with this ship here. These two ships, I'm probably just going to use lock-on because they're going to take a ton of damage. Now, lock-on increases my chance, my accuracy, as well as my critical damage. These guys over here, I'm not going to trigger anything yet, because I will probably end up needing to use Brace for Impact as these three ships arrive. That will reduce the damage I take. Then we have Running Silent, which is essentially a stealth mode. And we have Lightning Strike and Boarding Action. This allows us to send physical units over to their ship and try and sabotage their various units. Finally, we have Repairs, okay? So pretty self-explanatory. Down here, we have the various abilities our ship has from upgrades. We can use them, in this case, the Plasma Bomb, to launch an attack here. As you'll see, that's created a sort of area of effect cone, and there's a circle in the center of it that's starting to grow. When that circle hits the outside of that ring, it will explode and do damage. Unfortunately, I think I may have mistimed that, and he may actually get out of it. The last thing to explain, and yes, there's a lot of things to explain in this game, is the maneuverability section. If I hit this button, my ships will move at an increased speed, and this bar will reduce down to nothing, and then when it runs out, I'll stop moving. I can also do fast, high-energy turns, which allows me to get out of the way of missile attacks and things like that. I'll demonstrate all those, I'm sure, as we play. I'm going to unpause and get into this stuff. So we're going to go over here and attack this guy now. And these three are going to go over and attack this guy. Okay. So you can see my ship starting to turn, so we can engage his broadside cannons. You can see some cannons going off there. I just want to try and show you this. It's pretty cool, man. Like, the visuals in this game are pretty impressive, in my opinion. Come on, fire your cannons. There you go. So he's fired his cannons. We can slow that down. We can zoom in. We can see which ones hit. I like all this stuff. I do this in Total War as well. So there you go. Tons of damage. Great. So that guy's getting wrecked, which is nice to see. We've got 3 ships on him. Now, these are tiny ships we're attacking, but eventually we will start to see some larger ships. Now, my Nova Cannons have charged, so I'm going to drop that over there. No. Too far out of the way. That's the problem with the Nova Cannon. It does a ton of damage when it hits, but it doesn't always hit. Does my other guy have a Nova Cannon yet? He does, but he's not quite in the correct area to use it. Let's try and turn him around. So the enemy just used an ability on me, which essentially slows down all of my ships in that area. I'm going to use a taunt, actually, on this ship over here once he gets in range, but I can't do that quite yet, so let's unpause it. Turn him around. Let's use his Nova Cannon. Yep. Come on, let's try and hit him with the Nova Cannon. Yes, I think that might actually hit him. Yeah, that hit him. That did some damage. Sadly, I can't see what he is, so I can't see what kind of damage I've done. Let's fly over there and see what he's doing. All right, here's these guys. So they're attacking a small ship. That small ship's going to be easy to take out, no problems. And then we have 2 ships that are circling around the asteroid field trying to flank us. So let's send these guys over there. Let's actually move into range. I'm going to actually speed this up and use a high energy turn. So you click where you want to turn and the ship turns. Simple as that. And I'll speed him up again. Try and get in range of that ship. I want to get a little bit closer so I can see what I'm fighting. That would be nice. Okay, so we're fighting quite a large ship here. Now I want to click on this briefly and just show you how it works. So we're playing against the Chaos. You can see he's got quite a lot of armor and shields. I'm actually going to stop this guy from moving and tell him to focus on this guy. Okay, so we can click on him and we can select various parts of his ship to attack. So if we focus on the deck, he'll be unable to use these abilities here, which is kind of useful. We can also target his engines, his turrets, and his generators. They all do various things, but yeah. Right now, I'm going to focus on his generators. I'm going to set that to priority number 1 so he can't warp out and so it injures his shield somewhat. I'm also going to use a lightning strike. Oh, I'm not going to use a lightning strike apparently because it won't let me. Can I use one on him? No. Alright, let's fire some missiles out of this guy. So that's a manually triggered ability. You can also right-click the ability to have it automatically trigger, which is nice, so I'm going to do that. I want to use a lightning strike on this guy, but apparently I can't do it. I'm not entirely sure what the reason for that is, so I'm going to have to use a broadside attack instead. Let's try and get close enough to do that. Okay, I'm taking out his shields, which is nice. No, I can't use this ability for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why that is. Maybe I'm not quite in range for that, but I should be in range for the lightning strike. Maybe he has some kind of defense against that on this particular ship. Maybe that's what's going on. But normally you can invade their ship and target those systems, which is something I'd like to demonstrate to you, but unfortunately it doesn't seem that I can with this ship, so I'm just going to attack him straight out and try and kill him. Okay, let's pay attention to what's going on over here. Okay, they're all fighting over there. Where are those enemies? There's one there. Okay, so I think it might be time to turn this guy around to face this direction so we can use the Nova Cannon again. In fact, I'm going to do a high energy turn to achieve that, get that done quicker. And we're going to send these two in to attack there. Now, he's starting to take damage, so I'm going to repair him and brace for impact. That will reduce the amount of damage I take, as well as fix any damage I have already taken. This guy over here seems okay. His shields are low, so we're just going to use lock on for him and lock on for him. This ship's basically useless until this is off cooldown, so he's just kind of sitting there right now, which isn't great. But my Dominator should do reasonable damage to this guy. I'm going to try that lightning attack again. Okay, critical chance of critical damage is 37%. If I use this lightning attack, I'm going to trigger it off now. You can see. It's basically sending units over to his ship to try and sabotage his various equipment. We'll see if that was a success in a moment. So they're all shooting. This guy's just going to get wrecked, so I'm going to move him out of combat range. Okay, so these three. What are these three doing right now? He's got a Nova Cannon available. Where's the enemy? Not within range. They've all hidden away, unfortunately. So let's just resume normal speed. Keep those guys attacking, if possible. And he's coming over here, so... okay, there we go, Nova Cannon. So that guy's in range of my Nova Cannon. Please hit. Yes! Okay, this should do some reasonable damage. We've lost an escort ship. Yeah. The escort ships are useless, as I said. So these two can keep fighting each other. In fact, let's turn him around here with a high-speed... Oh, we can't quite use a high-speed maneuver, but we can use the Nova Cannon on him. So let's try and use the Nova Cannon. Come... Oh... Totally nowhere near him. It did do some damage, thankfully. It does do some damage. It does have quite a large range. But it's not the most useful. And let's send these three over here to attack him. Let's increase their speed. You can see, based on me playing this, there's a lot to think about. There's a lot to keep in your head all at once. And that's fun for me. I love this. Oh shit. Okay, let's pause that. So they're heading towards a minefield. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this fast turn on both of them to try and get them out of the way of it. It doesn't seem like I'm actually going to hit them, so we're all good there. But yeah, if you fly into those, you'll pretty much instantly die, which is not great. Let's set this guy to automatically fire his torpedoes. So once he gets in range of that, he'll automatically fire his torpedoes, and hopefully we can take that ship out. Let's unpause the game, or unslow it down, I should say. Let's take this guy and send him over there. Let's speed him up. I want to get him over there as quickly as possible. I also want to use my taunt to stop him from attacking my other ships, which he will do. So we're fighting two quite large vessels now. Okay, that's good. So now he's being forced to focus his attacks on me. I'm going to use my shield for a brief period of time. Okay, this guy's about to take a shitload of damage. Get out of dodge. Get out of dodge. Nope. Okay. He didn't take damage. He's just being slowed. That's slightly better. Okay, this guy's getting attacked pretty hard. I would like to turn this guy around so I can use this Nova Cannon. So there's a lot going on, as you can probably see. And it's a really enjoyable combat system, at least for me. I find this incredibly engaging. Oh, I haven't been using my plasma bombs. Let's drop that one there. Now this should hit him. This should hit him. Come on, come on, come on. Don't get out of the way. Don't get out of the way. Take the damage. Almost. Bam. Okay, that completely wrecked his shield, so now I can actually get into his armor, so let's send all of these boys off to dig into this dude's armor. Let's get this guy focused on this guy again. In fact, let's focus everyone on this guy. Okay, this escort ship's gonna get wrecked. It just is. It's right next to this. I could try and get it out of the way with a high energy turn. In fact, I should. Let's just do it. I'm gonna repair him as well while I'm at it. Try and get him out of the way. He's been lightning striked again. It's kind of good to use them as fodder, to be honest with you. Okay, there's 3 ships now. He called in reinforcements, obviously, because that guy was not there before. So you can see what I'm saying, and this combat can go on for quite a while. Now, my only real complaint regarding the combat system is the shields do tend to slow things down. Now, I understand why that's there for multiplayer. It would be kind of crap if everyone died in like 2 seconds. But in the single player stuff, I do find that having to knock down the shields, as you can see, we're doing no damage to him right now because his shields are recharging. When they're purple, you really can't break through their armor, so you're best to focus on another ship temporarily until his armor recharges, and then you knock his armor down, then you do more damage to his hull. It does feel a little bit slow at times. Let me try and use another Nova Cannon. Oh man, almost. Come on, yeah, that did some damage to his actual armor, so that's good. All right, everyone focus on this guy. Let's taunt him to attack that ship. Let's lightning strike him. We are focusing on, yeah, his engines. That's good. Okay, so this guy's not doing too well right now. And neither is my guy, actually, so I should probably heal him and brace him for impact. Oh shit, he's actually dead. Let's warp him out. Yeah, things aren't actually going in my favor right this second. Yeah, he's warping out, so hopefully he doesn't get destroyed. Cancel warp. He's dead. Okay, don't worry. That guy's gone. Right, so we have 2 of these guys left to fight this one guy. We should be able to do it. Let's send another lightning strike over. Send another lightning strike over. Lightning strikes failed. That's unfortunate. Okay, these guys are about to get blasted. Let's brace for impact. So yeah, I mean, like, for me, I'm finding this thoroughly engaging, right? Like, I really love this combat system. And there goes our ship. He's dead. My only complaint is that sometimes battles go on for a little longer than they should. That's it. That's really it when it comes to complaints. It's just sometimes they go on a little bit longer than they should, and it would be nice if you could speed things up. Maybe increase the speed of the match just by, like, increasing the speed of the actual time things pass. Like, I can slow things down with the tactical cogitator. It would be nice if I could speed things up a little bit sometimes as well. Okay, let's use the Nova Cannon. Let's try and blast this guy out of the sky. Come on. It's not going to hit. What about this guy? Is his off cooldown yet? Yes, it is. Okay, well, he's not going to be in range of that. So there's 3 ships I'm fighting right now with 2 guys. This guy's shield is done. His generators have been destroyed. That is not good. So yeah, okay, that's how the combat system works. I'm going to back out of it because you've seen how it works. You either win or you lose, right? But for me personally, I thoroughly enjoy this combat system. It's got enough depth to keep me interested. I'm constantly upgrading my ships. You earn renown, by the way, at the end of a match, but because I quit, I didn't earn any renown. But your ships will also level up, and as I explained before, you'll get access to new equipment. So yeah, that's how it works, right? And I really enjoy the core combat mechanics on offer here. What I don't enjoy is that literally everything else doesn't exist that should exist. Like the fact that the campaign is just a cutscene with these kind of battles. And it's the same system. You upgrade your ships, you do a battle, you get a cutscene. That's the only difference. So it's kind of like 4 ways to play the same game. And for me, at least, the skirmish mode is by far the best. I don't have to deal with cutscenes and unskippable crap and all that stuff. I just get in there and play the combat, which is what the game's about. So, is it a good game? Certainly. Is it worth your time and money? I think so. My only real criticism is the lack of a proper 4X grand strategy campaign. If they can add that in the next version of this game, and I do hope they make another version of this game because it's bloody great, then I will be very satisfied. Because right now I could see myself putting maybe another 10 hours into this game. If it had that grand strategy formula from other games like Total War and Civilization and games like that, I could see myself playing this for hundreds and hundreds of hours because the core combat mechanics are fantastic. The ship upgrades are great. It's got enough depth there to keep people like me interested long term. It just doesn't have that overall campaign thing that I'm looking for in a game like this. So, for me, is it worth my time and money? Certainly. It's just not what it could be, and hopefully, if they make another version of this game, it will be better than this one. And that's really not a very severe criticism. If you found this video helpful or useful in some way, please let me know in the comments below. If you disagree with something I said, feel free to let me know also. And as always, if you want to support my channel, please like my videos, share them, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.